Today we shall continue our study on database decomposition, and as we have seen before, the prime motivation behind database decomposition is the reduction of redundancy in a relation scheme, which is provided by a set of attributes and a set of functional dependencies. This decomposition means that we will break up the relations into more than one such schemes so that certain properties hold and that redundancy is minimized. The necessary condition of such a decomposition was the lossless join condition, which we have studied before, and it means that if we do perform a natural join of all the decomposed relations, then we will be able to get back our original relation without any additional or fewer tuples. Another desired condition of a decomposition was the concept of dependency preservation. In this case, we wanted to have a scheme by which we would be able to check all the functional dependencies on any one of the decomposed relation schemes. Because if there is a functional dependency which cannot be checked by any one of the relation schemes of the decomposed relation, then we would have to perform a natural join of all the relations and then check it on the original relation, which would be much time consuming and costly in terms of our computational effort. Therefore, our two conditions which we wanted was lossless join, which was a necessary criteria without which the database decomposition would be incorrect, and the second was dependency preservation. In order to achieve reduction of redundancy, we studied some of the standard normal forms, the first normal form, the second normal form, the third normal form, and the Boyce-Codd normal form. A quick review of the normal forms. The first normal form says that all the attributes are simple, there is no nested attributes in an attribute set. The second normal form says that every non-prime attribute is fully functionally dependent on each candidate key. An attribute was said to be non-prime if it did not belong to any candidate key, and every such non-prime attribute would have to depend on each and every attribute of a candidate key. That is, it would not be allowed in the second normal form that a non-prime attribute depends on a subset of any candidate key, and we saw examples in which redundancy can occur if second normal form is violated. But we also saw that second normal form does not take into account all such redundancies, particularly the dependencies which occur between non-prime attributes to non-prime attributes. In order to take care of that, we discussed the third normal form, and the third normal form is a condition which says that a decomposed relation scheme or any relation scheme is in third normal form if it is already in second normal form and no non-prime attribute is functionally dependent on other non-prime attributes. We also saw that this is equivalent to saying that for any functional dependency alpha to beta which holds on any one of the decomposed relations or any relation scheme, then any out of the three conditions at least one of them must hold. That is, alpha is a superset of beta, which means that it is a trivial decomposition dependency. Alpha to R, that means alpha is a super key, and the third is that each attribute in beta of the functional dependency alpha to beta must be such that beta is part of a candidate key. So either this holds or this holds or this holds. The third one actually takes into account this non-prime attribute is functionally dependent on other non-prime attributes. That is what this third part takes care of. And we saw that this is an equivalent definition of the original definition. But still we saw examples, especially the banker example if you recall, in which the third normal form still has got redundancies. And finally, we discussed what is called the Boyce-Codd normal form, which says that out of the three conditions of the third normal form, in the third normal form any one of these three should hold, and in Boyce-Codd normal form any one of these two should hold. Either the dependency will be trivial on the relation scheme or alpha will be a super key. If these two do not hold, then it is not in Boyce-Codd normal form. And we saw that any relation which is in Boyce-Codd normal form must be in third normal form, and those in third normal form must be in second normal form, and those in second normal form must be in first normal form. Therefore, it is our wish to obtain all our relation schemes in Boyce-Codd normal form, because it has got minimal redundancy. And we also want a decomposition which is lossless and preserves all the dependencies. We saw several examples, of which the first one was the supplied by example, which had got supplier name, item, price and a gift item. And we had two functional dependencies, supplier name item to price and price to gift item. And we saw that this is not in second normal form, because there are two candidate keys, supplier name and item. These two form a candidate key, one candidate key with these two attributes. Price and gift item are the two non-prime attributes, and though price is fully functionally dependent on the candidate key, gift item is dependent on a non-prime attribute. So, this is not in second normal form, and in order to break this up, therefore, it is in second normal form, but it is not in third normal form. In third normal form says a non-prime attribute must not be functionally dependent on other non-prime attributes, or if you look at the alternative definition, this is not a trivial decomposition dependency, nor is price a super key. So, gift item, the third condition of third normal form says that gift item must be part of a candidate key, which is not. Therefore, in that way also it is not in third normal form, and obviously if it is not in third normal form, it is not in Boyce-Codd normal form as well. And we broke it up into two dependencies, S name item price and price and gift item. And we found that this is a lossless joint decomposition, because price is a super key in the second relation scheme, and if we do a natural join with the first and the second, we are bound to get back this one, because price is a super key here, and it is a common attribute between these two relation schemes. And now in this one, the first functional dependency holds, in the second one the second functional dependency holds, and it is in third normal form. The functional dependencies are preserved, it is a lossless joint decomposition, and you can also check that it is also a Boyce-Codd normal form. Why? Because in this one, this functional dependency holds and S name and item is a super key. In the second one, this functional dependency holds and price to gift item and price is a super key. Therefore, it is also in Boyce-Codd normal form, and there is minimal redundancy in the scheme. So, it can be considered to be a good decomposition. We saw another example, the banker example, where we had a banker in a branch code, customer name and agent, and we had two functional dependencies, the agent to branch code, which signifies that in a particular agent can work in only one branch, and customer name branch code agent, which signifies that in one branch a particular customer can take the services of only one agent. Though there may be many agents in the bank, these are the two functional dependencies which hold. Obviously, there are two candidate keys, one is branch code and agent, and the other is customer name and branch code is one functional is one super key, customer name and branch code is one super key or candidate key. The other candidate key is agent and customer name. These are the two candidate keys, and by default there is no non-prime attribute, and Therefore, it satisfies third normal form, which says that either it's a trivial dependency like which none of them are, or it is a super key which is satisfied here, or beta must be part of a candidate key, which is true. Beta is part of some candidate key. Therefore, this is in third normal form, but it is not in Boyce-Codd normal form, because though this one satisfies that alpha is a super key of R, the second functional dependency is neither a trivial one nor is agent a super key of R. Therefore, it is not in Boyce-Codd normal form. And we saw that a relation which is in Boyce-Codd, which is not in Boyce-Codd normal form, may have redundancy. Like here, whenever you repeat the agent name, you are going to repeat the branch code name for the same customer. So, in order to convert it into a Boyce-Codd normal form, we saw that this one is a lossless join decomposition. We broke it up into agent and branch code and customer name and agent. Whereas this decomposition with agent and branch code and customer name and branch code is not a lossless join, because branch code is not a key in B1. Though it is the common attribute of the natural join, it is not a key in B1. Therefore, this join may become lossy. Whereas here branch code is a key here, and therefore this join will become lossless. Agent is a key in this relation scheme because of this functional dependency, and therefore doing a natural join here will make it lossless. And therefore, while this one is in 3NF, it is not in BCNF, and this one is in BCNF. However, this one is not in 3NF. This is in 3NF, but it does not preserve all the functional dependencies. For example, the second functional dependency, customer name branch code to agent, is not satisfied in any individual relation scheme, and in order to satisfy it, we have to perform a natural join. Therefore, we have come to an example where the relation is in 3NF and it preserves all the functional dependencies, but it is not in BCNF. Whereas we have an example, we have a decomposition which is in BCNF. It is a lossless join decomposition, but it does not preserve the functional dependencies. So, this means that we cannot have the best of all worlds in all cases, in the sense that we will not be able to guarantee that every relation scheme can be broken up into a set of relations which satisfy the BCNF normal form, preserve the functional dependencies, and their join is lossless. But what we have is that we can have any one of the two alternatives. We can have either a functional decomposition which is in 3NF, lossless join and dependency preserving, or we can have a BCNF which is lossless join. These two are guaranteed, and if we are lucky, we will get a BCNF which is also lossless join and dependency preserving. So, now we will quickly see the two algorithms by which we can achieve these two ends. The two algorithms are of different nature. One is a decomposing algorithm and the other is a synthesizing algorithm, in the sense that one algorithm breaks up the relation and the second algorithm slowly grows up the relation schemes. So, first we will see the method to obtain a lossless join BCNF decomposition. I will not detail out the algorithm, but I will highlight the basic steps which are involved in obtaining such a decomposition. Suppose we have a relation R, and let us work it out first with an example, and then we will see what we are going to do. Let there be a relation scheme R with attributes A, B, C, D, E, F. Let us have a functional dependency AB to C, D, E, F, which implies that AB is a candidate key. Let us have two other functional dependencies which violate the BCNF normal form, that is, it is neither a super key nor it is a trivial dependency. For example, let us have C to D and let us have E to F. Now, this algorithm works as follows. You pick up any functional dependency actually in F plus. Okay, and see whether this functional dependency is applicable on the relation scheme. Presently, we have only one relation scheme. Once we start breaking it up, we will have more than one relation schemes. So, now there is only one relation scheme and this is applicable on this. Does it satisfy BCNF? The first question is, does it satisfy BCNF? It is not a trivial dependency, but AB is a super key. So, this satisfies BCNF. So, we do nothing with this functional dependency. Now, let us take CD. This holds on this relation scheme. Does it satisfy BCNF? No, because C is not a primary key under any circumstances. So, we will break up R into two relations. The first will be R1, which will contain everything except this part, A, B, C, E, F, and R2, which will contain C and D. In general, if we have alpha to beta on R, we will break it up, we will remove R, suppose alpha to beta does not satisfy the BCNF form. We will remove R, we will include a relation scheme alpha beta, and we will include another relation scheme R minus beta. Now, this ensures that when I do a natural join of these two, I am going to get, it is going to be a lossless join operation. Why? Because C is now a primary key in this relation. It is a common of these two, and when I do a natural join with one key here and a primary key here, I am bound to get back my original relationship. So, once I do this, I can start from all over again, or I can continue. I can do whatever I want. So, suppose I continue, I pick up any relation scheme. Now, see this one. This one holds on this one, but this does not hold on R2. So, I am not bothered about R2. I am bothered about R1, and this does not satisfy BCNF form in R1. Therefore, I will break up R1 in the same manner. I will break up R1 into R1 1 is equal to A, B, C, A, E. I will get R1 2, which will be EF, and I will still have R2, which is CD. What I did was, I took out one relation corresponding to E to F and another one in which F is not there from the original one, so that I guarantee a lossless join functionality. And now, this is my current set of decomposed relations. Then I steal all over again. This is not applicable anywhere, so it does not matter. This is applicable only here, where it satisfies BCNF form. This is applicable only here, where it satisfies BCNF form, and therefore, one cycle, when I check that presently each one of the functional dependencies and all of them in F plus, I need to consider only the non-trivial decompositions in F plus. I need not consider each and every one like A to A, because it by default it satisfies BCNF. But if I had another decomposition, say D to E functional dependency, I have AB to CD and C to D. Okay, suppose I had another functional dependency C to D to F. Then I would have to check D to F also, but here D to F is trivially satisfied because AB to C is satisfied, E to F, C to D. So D to F is trivially satisfied. I would also have to check the dependency C to F, but C to F is also satisfied because it does not hold on any one of them. Therefore, in this situation, we have got a decomposition here which is in BCNF and which is a lossless joint decomposition. I repeat the algorithm. The algorithm is as follows: pick up any non-trivial functional dependency in F plus and check on the set of relations which initially contains the original relation R, check if the BCNF is violated, conditions are violated or not. If it is violated, then break it up like this. If the functional dependency is alpha to beta, remove the original relation where it is violated, add two relations in its place, one is alpha beta and the other is R minus beta, and the other relation schemes remain as they are, and repeat this process till there is no condition which is violated. I will pick up a similar but slightly more involved example. I have added this one. Now let us see what are the steps. The first step, this one is fine, it does not need to bother. Because of this CD, I will have one relation scheme A, B, C, E, F, and another one will be C, D. Now because of E, F, I will have A, B, C, E, C, D, E, F. Now because of CE, I will have A, B, C, C, D, E, F, and C. And finally, on this one, I have to check it on F plus. Now in F plus, by transitivity, the other non-trivial dependency which holds by transitivity is C to F. Now C to F will also have to be checked. It does not matter because it does not apply on any one of the individual relation schemes. Therefore, it is quite fine. Finally, my decomposition that I have got is this. This is a lossless joint decomposition, and in this particular case, it is also not a dependency preserving decomposition, if you note, because AB, no, I am sorry, it is a dependency preserving decomposition in some sense. If you see very carefully, this is not the canonical form. It is said to be decomposing preservation. It will preserve all the dependencies if any canonical form is applicable individually. Here this is applicable individually, this is applicable individually, this is applicable individually. By the look of it, this is not applicable individually. But look at, we have to check AB depends on C, D, E, F, and C depends on C is functionally determines D, it also determines E, it also determines F. Therefore, a canonical form of this can be AB to C and C to DE and E to F. And if these functional dependencies are checked individually on the individual relation schemes, then it is sufficient. This will be checked here, C to D will be checked here, C to E will be checked here, and E to F will be checked here. So you have to be very careful, because this logically implies all of them, and if this logically implies all of them, then it is fine, it is still a dependency preserving one, whereas if you look at this one, it does not look like a dependency preserving one, but you have to be very careful. This is a dependency preserving relationship, because it is sufficient if you check AB to C and C to D and C to E are checked automatically, then AB to D are checked naturally. Because if two tuples have the same AB, they must have the same C. If they have the same C, they must have the same E. If they have the same C, they must have the same D. And if they have the same E, they must have the same F. So indirectly, if they have the same AB, they must have the same C, D, E, F. So functional dependencies can be checked. But if we come to that banker question, then we will see how we will do it by our algorithm. This does not hold here. This is not in BCNF, because agent to branch code is such that agent is not a primary key. Therefore, we will break it up into banker, branch code, sorry, one will be agent branch code, and the second will be banker CNAME agent by our algorithm. We have got a lossless joint decomposition, and as we have seen, we are not able to get a dependency preserving one, because this is a canonical form. These are the two functional dependencies which hold. This is in canonical form, and this functional dependency cannot be checked on any one of the individual relations. So I hope informally the algorithm is clear. The algorithm successively decomposes the relation one by one, so that now each and every functional dependency which holds here is in BCNF. Now we will look at an algorithm in which we want dependency preservation. We want a guaranteed dependency preservation. That is, after doing the BCNF algorithm, if we find that we cannot have a dependency preserving decomposition, and we investigate deeply to see that no BCNF decomposition can give dependency preservation, then we, and if dependency preservation is our prime criteria, then we have to look for another decomposition where we will have to sacrifice the condition of BCNF, but we will see that we can achieve at least 3NF form. This algorithm is slightly different from the previous one. Let us take back our original relations. So let us look at it in canonical form, since, okay, let us see C, D, E, F, C to D and E to F. Obviously, we will first take the dependencies and may put them in canonical form. There is no point in having excess items out here. So what we will have is, instead of this one, we can work with this, it does not matter. Even if we work with this, it does not matter. But we would be prudent enough to work with this set. But it does not matter if we work with this set or this set, the algorithm still will give you the result. But it is always preferable to take up a smaller set of, which is the canonical form. And now you start with any functional dependency. Initially, your set of decomposed relation is null. There is no relation. This is a synthesis approach in comparison with the decomposition approach which we mentioned in the previous algorithm. This is a synthesis approach. And this proceeds as follows. Pick up any relation scheme and see whether it satisfies 3NF. This satisfies 3NF. This satisfies 3NF? No. This satisfies 3NF? No. So the relation scheme is not in 3NF. So now we start, knowing that the relation scheme is not in 3NF, we start. We pick up any functional dependency. Initially the set of decomposed relations is null. We pick up any functional dependency. If it is not already present as a subset somewhere here, we simply add it. We pick up here this one, this is not present here, add it. We pick this one up, this is not present here, add it. You add a relation corresponding to each of the functional dependencies, but that does not finish everything. If you add one relation corresponding to each of the functional dependencies, in this particular case we have got a decomposition which is okay, which is a lossless joint decomposition, but in general you are not going to get it. So next you have a final check is, so first is the steps are form one relation scheme for each FD, provided it does not already exist. After you have done this and exhausted all your relation schemes, check if in any one of the relations a super key of the original relation exists. That is, any one of the relations contains in its attribute set a super key of the original relation. In this particular case, AB is a candidate key, so it is contained here. So that is satisfied. So check for candidate key. It is satisfied here. At that point of time, your decomposition is over, or your set of decomposed relations have been formed. Let us see what would have happened if we had started with this one. If we have started with this one, this would remain as it is. So this would have A, B, C, D, E, F. For this we would introduce C to D. For this we would introduce E to F. Now, since this violates, this was not violating anything, it was there fine, it is in third normal form, but this is violating, this is violating. But if we have only these two, we do not get our complete relation scheme. So what we do is, we take AB and the candidate keys from here and here and make a third relation. This is going to be put so that you can take out your natural join. So that you can take out your natural join which is lossless, because if you have only these two, you are not going to get back a lossless natural join. So you take the candidate keys and the candidate keys from the individual decomposed relation and just join them up. One which can form the lossless join. This is to maintain the lossless join property. For the example which we did earlier, it was both in BCNF as well as in 3NF. Here, how will we decompose into 3NF? We look at this one, we have got agent, branch code. We generate one. We look at this one, we generate this is a candidate key, this satisfies everything, but in order to have one candidate key, as I mentioned at the end, we will have to see this one is sufficient. This is what we got from this one. Now this one is a candidate key, so we did not do anything, but this alone does not give me a decomposition. Some attributes are missing, and in order to have all the attributes now, what we do is we put in the functional dependency with the primary keys, the key here and the other attributes which have not been put. So we will get these two, and once we get these two, we notice that having these two relations is useless, because this one encompasses this one. Therefore, if one relation scheme is a superset of another and we necessarily must have this, then there is no point having this one, because having this one is futile. Therefore, we will remain with only this one, which is the original relation, and it will be a relation which is still in 3NF and satisfies the lossless join and dependency preserving properties. Finally, let us work it out for a more reasonable example. We have courses with course number, title, description, location and time. We have teachers who are employees with employee identifications, teacher name, salary, the course number the teacher takes, the time at which the teacher takes the course, and the location where the course is taken. And for students, we have the roll number, the name of the student, the course number in which the student has enrolled, and the grade which the student got in that course. And we have got course number to title and description, course number and time to location, course number and time gives location, employee ID gives teacher's name and salary, and employee ID and time gives the course number. That is the dependency which we have here. It should also give the location, in fact, because course number and time gives the location. Employee ID and time, if it gives course number, and course number and time gives location, so we will get location from employee ID and time by transitivity. And finally, here roll number gives the student's name, and the roll number and the course which the student takes gives the student's grade. What are the primary keys? Course number gives title and description, and course number and time gives the location. So, course number and time is a primary key. Similarly, here employee ID and time will give me this, will give me this, will give me course number, and since course number and time gives me location, therefore employee ID and time will also give me location. Here roll number and course number will give me grade, and roll number alone will give me student's name. Obviously, this one does not satisfy BCNF, this one does not satisfy BCNF, and this one does not satisfy BCNF. So, each of these three relation schemes which have been obtained, none of them satisfy BCNF, and that can be easily achieved by breaking this up into two. C1, which will have course number, title and description, and C2, which will have course number, time and location. Similarly, teacher will be broken up into two. One will contain employee ID, teacher's name and salary. The other will contain employee ID, time and course number. And finally, student will be broken up into two. One will contain roll number and S name. The other will contain roll number, course number and grade. And if we see, we will get E1 with T name and salary, E2 E1 will have employee ID as well, employee ID, T name and salary, This one will contain employee ID, time and course number. And thirdly, the student will be broken up into two, S1, which will contain roll number and S name, and S2, which will contain roll number, course number and grade. Now, we have got 6 relation schemes, and if we check, we will see that each of them satisfies the BCNF form, and it is a lossless joint decomposition because we have applied our BCNF algorithm, and fortunately this one is also a dependency preserving one. This is also a dependency preserving one, because this one can be checked here, the second one can be checked here, the third one can be checked here, the fourth one can be checked here, the fifth one can be checked here, and the sixth one can be checked here. We have to check only these or any canonical form needs to be checked, because that implies all the others. So, we are lucky here to have got a BCNF decomposition which is lossless join and dependency preserving, and if we do not get one which is dependency preserving by doing a BCNF algorithm, and we find out all our ways and means and still do not get it, then we will have to consider whether we want to go into a dependency preserving one or not. If we want to, then we will have to apply and settle for a 3NF normal form. So, this is what we had to discuss regarding database decomposition, and reiterating our original fact that in order to reduce redundancy we imposed decomposition. Decomposition helped us to check functional dependencies on only individual relations. It helped to reduce the redundancy, and however, if it is not a dependency preserving one, then we will have to perform a natural join which may be time consuming, and we want a BCNF decomposition. Or if a query is such that it asks a query on the attributes which are not present in the decomposed relation, then again we will have to perform a natural join. So, decompose does not give us each and everything that we want, but it still helps us to reduce redundancy, so that the functional dependencies which have to be checked each and every time any updation takes place is less time consuming. There are other ways in which you can optimize and get a good design, of which there are other types of functional dependencies called multi-level functional dependencies. Which are even more subtle dependencies than the standard functional dependencies which we have discussed here, and we can see examples where redundancy can occur even if such functional dependencies hold and it is in BCNF. So, there are other concepts like multi-level dependencies, which we will not discuss at present, but we may discuss if we have time at a subsequent level of the course or later in this course itself. Other ways of obtaining a good design or a good and optimized system is having a good file structure, in the sense that all these tables have to be finally converted into files, and how you organize your files depends very much on how quickly you are going to search and check the functional dependencies, answer your queries and everything. Therefore, study of file structures, the various file structures that are possible, is also an important thing and an important aspect in the design of a relational database after you have decomposed at a certain level. Knowing what your decomposed relations are, what your relation schemes are, having to answer a query after decomposition, how will you answer a query quickly? How will you reduce the computation and effort in generating an answer to a query? That is, instead of doing a pure natural join, we have seen later on, if selection is done earlier, maybe it helps to reduce the size of the tables which do a natural join. So, that way query optimization is also an important aspect. How you optimize queries, it is also an important aspect of database design. And finally, you may want not to decompose because of some queries which occur very frequently on certain relations, certain attributes which would otherwise have been decomposed if you wanted to remove redundancy. So, we will now move on to the study of file structures, and we will see how file organization is done. Then we will see query optimization and the simple methods of optimizing a particular query. We will stop this.